Okay. Yeah, sure. Please.
Om
You can.
Jnanatimrantasya Jnananjana Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadammayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam
Oh,
Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya
what?
Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri
One second.
Vitakam Sri Vishakamsvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta
What the
Kanchana
hell?
Gaurangi
Sorry, man.
Radhe Mandavishwari Vishabhanu Sutdevi
Shit.
Pranamami Hari Priye
Something's playing with. Sorry about
Vantakalpataruyascha
this.
Vasidevcha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Sorry, it's a different computer I'm using and it's doing some funny things. But anyway, okay. So the Sanskrit, Shyam Prabhu, would you mind?
Okay, so asamyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi vasyatam manatu yatata sakya bhaktum upayatah.
Would you like to do it as if you're giving class so we can repeat? Maybe just
Okay,
once we can repeat it.
one sentence at a time, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Asamyatatmana yogo
Asamyatam
Asamyatatmano yogo
dushprapa iti me matihi
Dusprapa iti
dusprapa
me
iti medmati
vasyatmanatu yatata
vashyatmana tu
asyatmana
yatata
sakya bhaktum upayatah.
Sakyo
sakyo
Vaktum Upayataha.
payata. Shyam Prabhu, would you mind doing the word for word as well?
Sure.
It's the first time.
Asamyata and unbridled. Atmana.
Ashyama,
As,
Ashyamata, unbridled. Sorry.
Atmana.
Atmana,
By the mind.
by the mind.
Yogaha.
Yogaha,
Self-realization.
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 Dusprapaha.
Dusprapaha.
Duspra,
Difficult to obtain.
Difficult to
difficult to
obtain.
Iti.
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 Thus.
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 Me.
Me.
Me,
My.
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 Matihi.
Mati,
Opinion.
opinion.
Vasya.
Vasya.
Vasha,
Controlled.
controlled.
Atmana.
Atmanaha,
By the mind.
by the mind.
To.
Two,
But.
but.
Yatataha.
Yatataha,
While endeavoring.
while endeavoring.
Sakyaha.
Sakyaha,
Practical.
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 Avaptum,
Avaptum,
to achieve.
to
To
achieve.
achieve.
Upayataha,
Payataha,
by appropriate means.
by appropriate means. Thank you.
Shall I read the translation?
Sure.
Translation. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion.
Okay. So just let us repeat again the translation, like you would in class, if that's okay.
Yeah. For one whose mind is unbridled,
For one whose mind is unbridled,
self-realization is difficult work.
self-realization is difficult work.
But he whose mind is controlled
But he whose mind is controlled
and who strives by appropriate means
and who strives by appropriate means
is assured of success.
is assured of success.
That is my opinion.
That is my opinion. Okay, I'm going to read the purport. I see Jade Prabhu is gone, but hopefully we'll get him back. Oh yeah, I just don't know why this thing is making such a strange. There we go. Okay, so I'll read from the book. Okay. Okay, let me just get him. He's here. Hare
Sorry
Krishna.
about that.
No problems. Okay, let me get this back. All right. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. Yoga practice without mental control is a waste of time. Such a show of yoga may be materially lucrative, but it is useless as far as spiritual realization is concerned. Therefore, one must control the mind by engaging it constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Unless one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he cannot steadily control the mind. A Krishna conscious person easily achieves the result of yoga practice without separate endeavor. But a yoga practitioner cannot achieve success without becoming Krishna conscious. Okay, so we will start with the first sentence, if that's all right. Maybe if that's okay, I'll start, and then we can continue from there. Okay,
Sure.
so the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. Okay, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yeah, understand that Krishna is affirming something. So he's declaring. It's like declare. I understand to mean as he gives a affirmative statement. So authoritative statement. So Krishna gives this statement that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement. So, proper treatment, I understand to be there's an actual process. Sorry, okay, yeah, I'm saying a little bit much, but there's an actual process to follow, like a treatment. You could say when we are in a diseased condition, there's a certain treatment, certain medicine we have to take, so that the mind can become detached. Yeah. So okay, if one of you can just try to repeat that part, I'm gonna not say too much. So because it's a little bit here and there. Sorry about that.
Repeat what part?
Just basically what Supreme Personality of Godhead is, what the clear means, and yeah, just
I'll start. Yeah, I can start. So you were saying, Neelachal Chandra Prabhu, that what you understand from the sentence is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares, and what you said by declares is that he's actually making a statement. You understand the word declare to be a statement that one who does not accept the proper treatment and to detach the mind from material engagement. You were saying that when one is sick, or one is not together, they need a level of treatment to be able to bring them towards themselves, to be able to actually and I'm adding here to actually then really be able to gain some kind of self-realization from material engagement.
Okay, yeah, you understood me very well, and thank you for putting some structure to what I was saying and adding. Shyam Prabhu, would you like to just on what Hari Kirtan Prabhu was saying?
Yeah.
Would you like to also understand what we are discussing?
So what do I just repeat?
Yeah, just repeat if you can in your own words,
Okay.
but as much as you can.
So basically here Krishna is affirming that there's a treatment, specific treatment to detach the mind from enjoying the material enjoyment, and and if one does not accept it, if one does not apply it, accept it, then you cannot achieve self-realization, cannot make any progress in spiritual practice.
Yeah. Okay. I'm also thank you for that. I'm also going to just repeat that again, kind of what you were saying, so that I can just get some structure to to the whole thing. Sorry for doing it this way, but it just makes a little bit more sense for me. Sorry, we're trying to help each other. So, Shyam Prabhu, I'm just going to use what you said as an understanding. That Krishna is affirming or giving a statement that there is an actual a prescribed treatment or remedy, you could say, remedy for a person whose mind is attached to sense enjoyment. And if you and basically to help you to detach, to get out of it. And if you don't follow it, it's very, very difficult or impossible to actually achieve self-realization. Is that, did I repeat what you said properly? So,
Yeah, sounds great.
okay. Is there any other kind of, is there a doubt in the sentence that you have or a response? Is there anything that
Doubt.
that you don't, either a little doubt or some question that you have on the sentence or a different understanding? Or
No.
even any of these words, even like the words material engagement. Do you properly understand it? Do we understand what proper treatment means? Anything
Well,
like
maybe
that?
just that, like, like, I mean, here, like, one who does not act. So here is being mentioned about just accepting treatment.
Mm.
So I mean, so accepting. So just that word to accept a treatment in terms of, yeah, it's that in terms of look at application and just acceptance or faith or full faith into this application. So I'm just curious to, like, yes.
Okay. I kind of, I'm going to try to understand what you're trying to say. Um, so it's not that you have a doubt, but you're kind of asking for some clarification what this acceptance entails.
Yeah.
Accepting this treatment. It's
Mhm.
like it could either, yeah. Is that what you kind of what you
Yeah.
alluding to? So
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
Hari Kirtan Prabhu, would you
Yes.
also like to?
I think one thing I wanted to say in the beginning, I was going to say it's a pretty high standard to have been set to detach the mind completely from material engagement. Can hardly achieve
Mhm.
success in self-realization. But when I was reading the word hardly, I kind of felt that there is still a level of that you could reach. It might not be a full level of self-realization, but if you, yeah, okay, I'll stop there. Would you like to reflect, or what is it? Is it reflect or understand?
Yeah, just to reflect, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, Neela, would you like to reflect what I was saying?
Mm.
So what I'm understanding you saying is that okay, you you're seeing this word hardly achieved, um, means that there is a possibility. It is not impossible, but there is a slight possibility for someone to achieve perfection. But it's very, very, seems like it's very, very rare that someone would be able to achieve um, detachment in the proper way. Um,
Mm.
and
Mm.
with that, to help them in this process of self-realization. Kind of what I'm understanding.
Yeah, you understood me really well. I just wanted to say that in the beginning, I mentioned that it kind of seemed like a really high standard or a really high benchmark to kind of be that has been set.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So saying that the statement treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. So yeah, this statement just means that it's very difficult, or it's a very high standard to actually engage properly in this process and then achieve the proper success. So it's a high standard, according to you.
Yes, you
Okay.
understood me perfectly. Thank you, Nila.
Sure. Shyam Prabhu, would you like to try to understand what Hari Kirtan is saying?
Um, so so I got a bit lost now.
Okay.
It's okay.
So maybe, yeah. So Hari
Just
Kirtan
trying to
Prabhu,
understand, but yeah.
would you mind repeating what you said?
Yes, of course. So what I was saying is that when I first read like the second part of the sentence, detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization, I was thinking two things. The one thing I was thinking was that how is it possible that I could personally ever achieve detaching my mind completely from material engagement? And I was feeling that, it's a pretty high standard. And then the other thing that I was thinking, the second thing that I thought, was the last part of the sentence that says, hardly achieve success in self-realization. Now, the word hardly, I saw as being an opportunity that you can actually still get some type of self-realization, but it's not going to be the full thing.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Um, so basically that from this sentence seems like it's a very high level of achievement to achieve self-realization. Then, but but the word hardly mentions that there's still a possibility to achieve that, right?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
it's kind of like it's rare. It's kind of like for most people it won't happen. So basically, for most people, if they want to achieve success in self-realization, then they must accept the treatment, that they must accept the process that's given by Krishna to detach their mind from material engagement. And if there is no, if that process doesn't involve detachment from material engagement, then that also means they can't really achieve success in self-realization.
You've understood me perfectly, and you've also added the part that I was going to say, so thank you. You did great.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's wonderful. I don't think there's anything else. Okay, maybe I have one question, and it's a question I always ask. And the question is, how would you unpack self-realization? What does self-realization really mean? Yes, that's the question.
Shyam Prabhu, it's all you.
Well, I mean, I would say in self-realization, understanding who the self is. So that the self is it's not the body but the soul. So I would think of the verse that says how does it go? Raja Vidya Raja Guyam Pavritam Midamutamam Chaksharagamada Susukam Katuma Vyayam. That this process you gain realization of the self and is joyfully performed. So self-realization, so you actually realize who you are, not just with knowledge that I'm not this body, but began you actually practiced, you realize that, and through the way you live your lifestyle. And also Prabhupada says, how do you know you make advancement in spirit life? It says how much you're free from basically from the material attachment, especially with lust. You know that the more free we are from sex desires, then the more we are, the more advanced we are.
Okay. That's
Okay,
I don't know
I'd like to,
if
if that's okay, Neelachal Chandra Prabhu.
sure.
So what I understood from what you were saying, Shyam Prabhu, is that your understanding of self-realization means that understanding who, you know, the self, and you were saying that we are not these bodies, we are the soul that is within the body. And then you quoted a really nice verse, and you were saying that the translation of this verse is that by following this process of Krishna consciousness, then one not only understands who oneself is, but it becomes joyful. It becomes joyful. The practice becomes joyfully performed. And then you were saying that that Srila Prabhupada was also saying that one can understand, or one can see one's advancement by the detachment of material desires and sexual desires. And yeah, that's all I got from that. Did I understand what you were saying properly, Prabhu?
it's just perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. If can I have an opportunity to also try to reflect?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. So, Shyam Prabhu, you were saying that self-realization means to realize that you are not your body, and that you are spirit soul, and it goes a little bit further than not just understanding this through through knowledge, but Vigyan, you said, like realized understanding, and then once you refer to the verse, once you get to this point, or if you're in this process of self-realization, it becomes a very joyful act to practice, and to make it a lifestyle, or to embody this kind of attitude that you are a spirit soul. And then and then the last part was that Srila Prabhupada mentions that your spiritual advancement in life, it's like a scale. Spiritual advancement, as you advance, the material attachment and all your material qualities diminishes. So as you elevate yourself spiritually, your consciousness, at the same time, your detachment from material enjoyment and your material qualities diminish as well. Did I understand you?
Very nice. Yeah, very good.
Jerry. Okay, so thank you. Yeah, that gives me a lot of. I think Srila Prabhupada also mentions that there's there's these um, different stages of spiritual realization, where, and we all know this, where first of all it's you're not your body, then you get a little bit closer to understand that the super soul is also present in the heart, and then that you are a part and parcel of Krishna, who is also aloof and also in his own abode. So Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan in that sense. So elevation to that point where Krishna is fully realized, and your position and relationship to him, that kind of uh, brings self-realization to its actual point. You know.
Jai, if I can just reflect what you were saying, Nilachal Chandra Prabhu, is that okay?
Jai, sure.
Yeah, you were saying that Srila Prabhupada is given this level of understanding, a process, or one can go through levels of understanding of self-realization, and one is through understanding that we're not the body, we're the soul. Then to understand that there is the super soul within, that is sitting next within the heart of the devotee, and then the living entity, and then there is the highest realization, which is of Krishna himself. And then you were saying that it is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan realization. Did I understand you correctly, Prabhu?
You did, and you understood me perfectly, and you gave me an opportunity just to kind of expand a little bit, just to something small. I did today. I I was reading a little bit, and I read a lecture. It was what do you call it? It was a lecture on a verse, maybe I don't know which verse it was, but Prabhupada was speaking, and oh no, it was an interview. It was an interview he had, um, and the interviewer asked him a question about spiritual realization, and he actually said that Brahman realization, the first part. Firstly, it starts with knowing that you are a spirit soul. Just the same, he mentioned, just the same as you identify as either a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim or whatever. If you identify as a spirit soul, that is when the practice can start, and then that realization comes. So, firstly, you have to kind of uh, put yourself in the proper identity. You understand, like in a proper position, and then in your act in that position, then the realization comes, because then philosophy becomes realized in that sense.
I just like to reflect because I'm not sure if I understand exactly what it is that you're saying. So, from what I understand, is that you're saying that you were listening to a lecture or a conversation or an interview with Srila Prabhupada, and he was speaking about the Brahman realization, and that the Brahman realization has different levels within it, and one of those levels is to understand or to give yourself the designation of whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a whatever, and then once you get to that level, once you understand who you are, then you can move to another level of understanding. Is that right? Was I understanding you properly, or was I just spacing out like I normally do?
I'm going to read it to you. I found it here on my phone.
Can you just tell me though if I was going in the right direction, or was I really going in?
Uh, I think if we review this,
You can tell me on this. I want to know. You can tell me I'm a space cadet. I don't mind.
to be honest, I was spacing out when you, because I was looking
Yes.
for the actual. I can't.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. Okay. So, let me just see here. Okay. Okay. Spiritual realization. There are different stages of spiritual realization. First, spiritual realization is to understand oneself as I am not matter, I am spirit. This is the first stage of spiritual realization. When one firmly convinced, how? By knowledge. By knowledge. Just we are conscious, I am Indian. You are conscious that you are American. One is conscious, I am Hindu. One is conscious, I am Christian. So similarly, when one is fully conscious that I am spirit, aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman, that is the first uh, that is the first spiritual realization. That knowledge. Knowledge means consciousness. So this consciousness also, has also a development of consciousness. There are different stages, and when one comes to the ultimate stage, that is called Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. So, yeah, just that first part, I kind of added my own thing to it. But what Prabhupada was saying is that just by merely understanding that you are a spirit soul, there's no real realization involved. But just as you identify as being a Christian or being a Hindu or something like that, if you identify as being a spirit soul, like that first identity of yours, your ego being a eternal servant of the Lord, a spiritual being, that is enough to make you Brahman realized.
Sham
But then,
Prabhu, would you like to reflect what Prabhu was saying? To understand what he was saying?
I'll try my best.
Yeah, good. Yeah, go for it. No worries.
So basically, so the beginning of spiritual realization is to, as we normally identify with our temporary marital designations, I'm French, I'm a male. So the beginning is to, instead of identifying with that, is to identify with a spiritual identity of being a soul. So I'm actually a spirit soul. And by doing activities with that identity, then one can become realized. You actually get that realization of being a spirit soul. Is that right?
yes,
Is that
yes,
yeah.
you understood me perfectly. Yeah.
So even if one is not, even if one has not realized it, but if one performs activities reminding himself that I'm a spirit soul, and not I'm doing this activity because I'm French or because I'm even, but actually because I'm a soul and my position is to serve Krishna, then in that moment actually that person is, would it be right to say at that moment that person is self-realized?
I would say not self-realized, but I would say that you have reached the Brahman platform of self-realization.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that moment you are acting on the Brahman platform.
Yes. Aham brahmasmi. So you know that you are spirit. Although
So
you might
that
be performing it imperfectly, and there's still a bit of a process of purification and so on, but at least you know your identity is fixed there.
So if we connect to So the verse that says that when one is fully engaged, then one can overcome the modes of nature.
Mm.
You know, so that would that be the verse that be Saguname Mama Maya Durutaya? As the son is that's this one? But by engaging fully, then one can overcome the modes of nature and be Brahman realized. Yeah, is that basically?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically that's what I wanted to say is that self-realization, it has stages, and what Prabhupada is saying here is that even if you're just conscious that you are a spirit soul, it means that you are on that first level of self-realization, of Brahman realization. But there's still a way to go. Still a way to go by, like, coming back to our purport is by following this process of Krishna consciousness. You know, the process, the treatment. Okay, so if that's okay, maybe we can, if there's no questions, maybe we can, there's like 8 minutes left. So would you like to continue?
Yeah, let's do another sentence.
Okay, Jai. Any one of you would like to go?
Yeah, sure, I'll go. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. That's really nice. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. What do you understand about that, Nilachal Chandra Das?
So,
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
yeah. So what I understand is it is actually useless to practice yoga if your mind is not fixed on something, you know, fixed on the ultimate goal. And in this case, it would be Krishna. If yeah, okay, you can go.
You're saying that it's practically impossible to practice yoga if your mind is not attached to Krishna.
Yeah, that's it.
Focused on Krishna, not attached. Focused on Krishna.
Yes, you understood me. You understand it in a different way, or is there more would you want to say?
I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we can
Let's
read
just see.
one more sentence.
Let me just see here. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. Yeah. So just what I'm understanding is there's the path of yoga that means sense control, especially controlling the mind. But then there's also this process of material enjoyment, sense enjoyment, which kind of contradicts the whole situation. It like it's saying here, the one will inflame your senses, and the other one is going to control them. So you cannot achieve anything by basically having your foot in both of these boats at the same time. You can't go anywhere.
Shyam Prabhu,
Can I,
would you like to repeat that?
so basically, Untitled Chapter would just mention about that you can either engage in sense gratification, or you can either engage in Krishna gratification. So either in spiritual or material activities, we cannot do both. So if we try externally to practice yoga, so that also mentions that yoga is performed with just with the mind, but also proper expense with the body, and also with the mind and intelligence. So if the mind is, we may be engaged externally in yoga, but yoga really means to control the mind. So if our mind is engaged in sense gratification, whilst externally we're engaging in so-called like spiritual activity, then basically we are just basically it's just useless because we're not decreasing the fire of material existence. We're actually pouring oil on it. So we're trying to, the water means to extinguish. We're trying to stop that fire, that heat, the burning we used to suffering. So like that. Also, I was wondering because I was thinking, well, but then at the same time, it's a gradual process. So how we have so many samskaras and stuff. Does it mean it's expected that from the beginning we should be able to control our mind straight from the beginning? Or does it mean that because obviously can it be possible just is that expected right from the beginning that one is able to completely control their mind?
So okay, you're asking,
yeah,
you're asking if
no, Hari Kirtan Prabhu, please go. I just wanted to say that it's a very vital question, and it would have been, just from a facilitator's point of view, to try and assist, that it would be good to keep that question for the time that we can ask the question, so that all the focus can be on it, because now you've also gave your understanding and added a question. So there's two things now that's kind of in the air. But yeah, just for future. But let's go into the question itself then. Hari Kirtan Prabhu, you had it.
I just wanted to reflect thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you for that point. I do appreciate that. And yeah, I do remember it being like that until we actually get to the point of asking a question, then it makes sense. So thank you for bringing that up. I just wanted to reflect back what Shyam Prabhu was questioning, is that does this mean that from the very beginning one has to control the mind in order to really make some progress? Because it's like, I mean, just the way you asked it was kind of like, well, it seems almost impossible if that's how it's supposed to be. Did I understand your question correctly, Shyam Prabhu?
Yes, yeah.
Great.
Shyam Prabhu, do you have a light on your own question? Do you have some kind of, would you like to kind of delve into an answer firstly before we go into it?
I can't remember where I read, but I think it's mentioned about the different process of kind of like of celibacy, controlling the mind, performing things like, it's like yoga. I think maybe it's in a Sri Punish. No, maybe in Easy Journey to Other Planets. But then it's explaining just with the association of the spiritual master. And
is there a specific word or phrase?
Sorry?
No, is there a specific word or phrase that you remember?
No, I saw
that maybe I can.
Oh, I'm not too sure. Maybe, I mean, spiritual master, but I come up with a lot of. I'm not too sure. But I think for that, I would say by the mercy of a spiritual master, then one can. Actually, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita in a purport. Purport explains that one is able to can control his senses, even if he would not normally be able to do so, because of I can't remember the verse though, but because of kind of like I think as far as I can remember, because of being engaged in kind of like in this epic succession, pleasing the spiritual master, that Krishna can make that happen. I wish I remember the verse, but maybe I can look for it. Yeah, so that's what we just say.
Yeah, let's take some time and try and find something. It's good to look for it.
Yeah, yes, it we get. I know this verse. I think I found it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the reference?
Actually, it's a little different, this one. This is 264. Prasadam Adhikachati. One attains the mercy of the Lord. Prasadam Adhikachati. Bhagad Vesha. Vimukta is to Vishayan Indriya. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom, and obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Should I read the purport?
Sure.
It is already explained that one may externally control the senses by some artificial process, but unless the senses are engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance of a fall. Although the person in full Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment and detachment. I think that's the part I kind of like that made me choose these verses. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Therefore, to act or not to act is within his control, because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform.
Fascinating.
So, briefly, what do maybe you can just sum it up in just something in your own words, if it's possible.
So basically,
yeah.
So when we endeavor to please Krishna, then we can attract his mercy, and with his mercy, then we can be able to basically not engage in certain kind of like sensual, like sense gratification that we would normally have done. So basically it means that one can control his mind. We can control our mind because we act under the direction of Krishna. As long as we act under the direction of Krishna, then one can control his mind. Why? Because we can get his mercy. So I think that will be connected also with what we mentioned about identifying as a soul, and also in terms of following the spiritual master's instruction. So by pleasing the spiritual master.
Okay.
That following the instruction.
That's a very nice insight or light on this. Can I maybe just try to reflect?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So summing up this purport, Shyam Prabhu, you're saying that just by being established in this position of being a spirit soul, an eternal servant of Krishna, and being engaged in the process of Krishna consciousness by serving the Lord, we are actually attracting his mercy, and he then bestows this consciousness, like it's saying here, this consciousness onto us, which in effect kind of controls the mind. So it's the Lord's mercy that controls the mind. Yeah, did I understand? Okay.
Yeah, that's very nicely put. Yeah.
Sorry. Hari Kirtan Prabhu, would you like to also reflect?
No, I think you did really well.
Okay, that's great. Okay,
I think also
Sure. No.
If I can just say, because I really like, just the last sentence, it's very kind of like, I find it very powerful, because it says that this consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of being attached to the sensual platform.
Wow.
So that means that even if someone is attached to that sensual platform, is somehow one way or another, they just just engaging in some service, they can attract the mercy of the Lord, which will make it easier to kind of like follow, even if one is on the central platform. So no excuses.
I can reflect that back, definitely. That's really nice. So you're saying, we're just reading this last sentence, and your own kind of understanding of the sentence is that, when one engages in that service to Krishna by attracting his mercy, even if one is on the sensual platform, even if one is attached to the material plane, then the mercy can still revive us. It can still bring us out of it. So you were saying there's no excuse, actually. Nice.
That's really nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So Prabhus, I'm going to. It's been an hour, and I'm going to say, if that's okay, we stop here for this evening, and we can continue next time. And I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate that we've gotten together and we could have this association, and it really enlivened me, because just to spend time with both of you was amazing. and let's, if it's possible, we'll do this again. And I'd like to see where it goes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you,
That was
Prabhu.
very enlivening
Thank
for
you.
myself also. Thank you for that wonderful association.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Jai
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Very well.